4 FM at Eastern Media Limited. Sofia ji is a very popular renowned theatre and film actress from Odisha, and Panchami is a Bhubaneswar based bird watcher and bird photographer who pioneered community bird watching in Odisha. Can we have a warm round of applause for our three panelists, please?
जय जगन्नाथ शुभ संध्या आजिर ए विशेष पैनल डिस्कशन रे मु आपण माने को स्वागत करुची कहले अत्युक्त हेब नाही जे 2022 मसिया रो सबुठारु अविस्मरणीय प्रतीक हे रही जाइछि आहे नील शैल दीर्घ 2 वर्ष धरी अनेक मानसिक और शारीरिक आघात नहीं कोरोनार आतंकरू जेतेबेले लोक माने बाहरिले सेतेबेले आहे नील शैल एक चंदन लेप परी काम करिछि एवं न्यू नॉर्मल रु पुणी थरे नॉर्मल को फेरी जिबार आभास देछि महाप्रभु जगन्नाथंकर एई कहानी सहित दर्शक माने तांको भाव और चेतना को एपरी हजाई देले जे 4 दिन धरी शो हाउसफुल रहिला व्यावसायिक सफलतार सहित पब्लिक डिमांड रे नाटकर सेकेंड एडिशन को प्रस्तुत करागला एवं नाटकटी को बेंगलोर रे भी स्टेज करागला आज आम सहित अछंती तनया पटनायक और सोफिया आलम जी आमको ए ब्लॉकबस्टर प्ले विषय रे कहिबे बोथ कम फ्रॉम क्रिएटिव ब्लड लाइन्स आमे प्रथमे तनया को पचारिबा तनया पटनायक युवपीढ़ी प्रतिभाशाली मार्गदर्शिका जी निजको प्राउड ओडिया बोली कहती से संवाद ग्रुप रो एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर और आहे नील शैल नाटक तांकरी अवदान सांगरे अछंती प्रतिष्ठित अभिनेत्री सोफिया आलम जहाँ को आमे सिनेमा और टेलीविजन रे अनेक रोल रे देखिचु एथर किंतु से एक भिन्न किरदार रे देखा जाइचंती महाराणी ललिता महापाटदेई को रोल निभेइचंती आहे नील शैल नाटक रे A warm welcome to both of you. Tanaya, many congratulations on this blockbuster. निश्चित आपण आहे नील शैल द्वारा ओडिया थिएटर रे एक बेंचमार्क सृष्टि करचंती. Why आहे नील शैल and when did you think about this? केबे भाबिथिले जे एते सफलता पाइबे and did you ever think that it would herald a resurgence of Odia theatre?
Thank you so much, Panchami. It's a pleasure to be here today at the Bhubaneswar Tata Lit Meet. And honestly, I've been asked this question so many times in the past 1 year. And I still do not have a particular answer to why Ahe Neela Soila. Probably the best I can come up with it is because probably I was destined to be a part of this production. But a year and a half ago, when I was reading a novel by novelist Surendra Mahanti, Ahe Neela Soila, the language of the novel is very rich. It's in Odia, so I literally needed a dictionary to follow it from the beginning. But when I got to the the crux of the story, it was so interesting. It was so interesting. I felt that you're reading a script of a movie, and with the massive success of historical movies like say Padmavat or other productions, mostly I could only think of how big and how massive this would be on screen if say somebody like Sanjay Leela Bhansali lays his hand on this script. It would be so amazing. And why don't we have our stories on the big screen? Why don't we have our rich history on the big screen, on the silver screen? So I thought the script, the story totally deserved a movie. But again, a movie was a very big thing. And then I thought, a safer option would be to bring it on stage, to create a play, to do a production. And that is why I just stepped into it very instinctively without any prior planning or thinking it's going to be so successful. And absolutely I had no idea that I would be sitting in a panel like this talking about Ahe Nila Soila, but I think it's all been the blessings of Lord Jagannath. And yes, that is why Ahe Nila Soila, I really thought the story was amazing. It deserved to reach more people, and a play was the best way I could be associated with it.
Undoubtedly, like we told you after we all saw the play, you have been the chosen one, because without the Lord's wish, this could never have happened, definitely. I will now come to Sofia. We have seen you in very soft, sweet roles on television and in cinema. This time, you have played a very stately queen, Maharani Lalita Mahapatade, and it is a very different role that you have played. And I also just got to know that this is your first stint at theatre, and you seemed so confident, almost like a pro. So, how was the experience?
Samastanku namaskar. First of all, I would like to thank Tanaya for coming up with this idea of doing a theatre in this way. Earlier we've seen theatre, and we've seen theatre in Odisha. But Tanaya came up with this idea of doing it in a very big platform, in a very big way, and in a cinematic way, and she made many changes to it, and it's all her idea, and she's done a lot of research on it. And the very idea that we'll do a subject which is close to our hearts. Everybody, all Odias love Lord Jagannath, and she chose this subject. And when I got the call from them, I was absolutely delighted, and it was like, yes, this is the subject I was waiting for. I had always wanted to do theatre all my life, but my career started in 20 years back on television, and then I did a few movies, but the desire to do theatre as an actor always remained unfulfilled. So I wanted to do this, and then it just so happened that it was just a coincidence that I got a call from Tanaya, and like, see, we are doing this, and would you like to do a role? I said, yes, I'll do it. They said, okay, just you have to know what you have to play. I said, I'm going to do it. So without even knowing what I was going to do, I said yes to it because I loved the subject. After that, I got to know that the character that I was offered is a very powerful, strong Maharani character. And then I guess their production guys had some doubts. Madam, have you ever had done a role like this before? I said, is it a negative character? I mean, is she a villain? No, she's not a villain. Because I didn't know if I would do justice to that character, you know. But then we had lots and lots of sessions of rehearsals and lots of correction and the dialogues and everything. And then we did it.
In fact, when I was talking to Tanaya, she told me that, like there was just no reason. I just saw her and I just wanted her for the role. So I think again, it's the Lord's choice. Otherwise, these things don't happen.
Yeah, as they say, ऊपर वाले की मर्जी के बगैर दुनिया में एक पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता है.
Absolutely.
So अगर जगन्नाथ जी की मर्जी है तो उनकी मर्जी के बगैर कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता था. उन्हीं की मर्जी थी, इसीलिए ये हुआ. I'm sorry for saying this in Hindi.
Absolutely.
But it's absolutely the Lord's wish, and nothing happens without His wish. And that is how this project came up, and that is why it is so close to my heart. It will always remain close to my heart.
And we are so happy that you were chosen for the role because you were so amazing. Absolutely.
I'm so happy. Yeah, thank you.
Tanaya, the common opinion after Ahe Nilo Soilo has been that there are 3 reasons which went your way. The first, of course, is that when the theme is Lord Jagannath, brand Lord Jagannath draws devotees, audiences, wherever they are, they will come. The second is that you have a media house, so you got a lot of publicity which normally others would not get. They would have had to spend a lot of money. And the third, of course, is corporate sponsorship, which enabled this huge production, this large-scale production that Ahe Nilo Soilo is. So what would you have to say to this?
I absolutely agree. All the three reasons that you pointed out, that people are citing behind the success of Ahe Nilo Soilo. But I would say that they're forgetting one important thing, that is the content, that is the heart and soul of every production, the final output. Number one, yes, because I belong to a media house, we absolutely used all our platforms to promote this play, because I feel art is for the people, right? And it has to reach the masses. So a lot of people say ki sambat karuchi commercial karidala play taku. I don't understand that why a negative connotation is attached to the word commercial. If an art form is not self-sustaining, how is it going to survive? It has to be commercial. An art, a play, a creation, a content is not only for a niche or for an inner circle. It is for the people, number one. Number two is promotion and marketing is very, very important. We should be completely unapologetic about promoting a good content, because a good content, if it does not reach the masses, if it is not discoverable, there is no point in it. On the other hand, if the content does not have that quality, if the content is not good enough, however much you do the promotion, whatever kind of money you spend on it, even that's not going to work. So we did the promotion, we could we took the risk to spend that kind of money on the promotion because we were very confident about the content. So I think that is there. And again, sponsorships is very, very important, because what theatre needs, we're talking about the resurgence of theatre today. What theatre needs is patrons. And this is not something new. If you look at, history, say if you look at Kalidasa, the poet and the playwright, he was in the court of Chandragupta. Aguru जो राजा माने थिले, emperors माने थिले, से माने art को, से माने artists मान को. जमती Tansen was in the court of Vikramaditya, and then Akbar spotted him, and then he got him, and he was a part of the Navratna. So today we need modern patrons to promote, to support theatre, because ticket sales are just not enough to cover the cost of a good production. So I think patrons, like I would be eternally grateful to Mitesh Khimji from Khimji Jewelers, because he supported us. That gave us a lot of strength to make sure that we put in that kind of an effort and resources into making this production a very high quality production. So we worked on the script, the costumes, the light, the stage, the set, everything. So I think there is no one reason behind the success of blockbuster production, as they would say. So there needs to be, number one, the content, the script. Number two, if it's a good script, it needs to reach the people. For that, promotion is very important. And yes, patrons, corporate houses, sponsors need to back art forms. And secondly, if it does not touch the people, if the product or the content does not touch the people, then no amount of promotion or marketing or publicity is going to help it.
Sofia, you've now worked across all platforms, cinema, television, and now theatre. As an actress, which medium gave you the most creative satisfaction?
The longest I've worked is for television, and that is where I improved and I polished my art, because we got to do scenes every day, and we were shooting, like if we shoot for 12 hours, we create one episode. So every day when practice always makes you perfect, be it any art form. So television polished my art, but the real satisfaction, as you would say, the creative satisfaction you'll always get from theatre. because first of all, you're facing the audience live. Secondly, there is no chance of making any mistake. So you have to be, that thorough and that good with your work. And you have to be absolutely confident. And there's no chance of making a mistake. So that was very challenging, and that was the biggest thing for me. And that is why I had always wanted to do theater, because I wanted that challenge, whether I can do it or not, because television and cinema are two such formats where you can just go and recorrect, and okay, made a mistake, cut it, and we can redo the scenes. But on stage you cannot do that, and that challenge, that part of theater is very exciting. As an actor, I would say I just love theatre. And of course, as far as the creative part is concerned, of course it gives you, the horizon is very broad. So you can really really perform in many ways, and you have many characters to play, not just for this particular subject, but you have, like one dialogue. If I'll say the dialogue in one way today, I can say the same dialogue in another, in a little bit of different way the next day. Yeah. So that liberty we
Creative
get.
liberty.
Yes, we get that creative liberty. And then the chemistry with the co-actors is very beautiful. That part, we work on that basically. More than memorizing our own dialogues, we also have to know what's the co-actor's dialogue. Only then, the beauty of the subject comes out, the real beauty. Because many people just focus on their own dialogue. But more than that, you also have to know the pauses, the music, and everything.
That rhythm and harmony was very evident.
Yes.
In the way you all were acting out your roles. It was.
Yes. Even the music is live. So when when the actor is crying, so they play a music that will make you cry more, because I'm crying live. So that music, you connect, all your senses are completely, totally there with the character. You cannot think about anything else. It's not like you are there and you are thinking about something else, or you're thinking about the person sitting in front of you. We may be looking at the person, but we are actually not there. We are actually Maharani hi hai, and she's thinking about the character that she's playing. And when the music plays and she has to get angry, and one moment she's crying, the next moment she is furious. So it totally takes all your senses to be present over there. You cannot just so that part is very challenging. You cannot just karke nikal jayenge. You cannot do that. We cannot just take it so lightly. It's serious business actually.
And I must say, Sofia doesn't need any music to cry. She's never used glycerin in her entire career. She can cry at the drop of a hat. She can cry right now in 1 second.
How lovely, how lovely. We just spoke about the commercial success of Ahe Nilo Soilo, and we talked about the patrons and the sponsors. Theatre in Orissa has a very rich legacy. There has always been great content. We've had stalwart theatre personalities. Why has there not been any kind of patronage for theatre so far in Orissa in terms of commercial support or in terms of commercial success? We've seen Jatra. Jatra is a 120 crore industry in Orissa today. Your father has been one of the biggest patrons for the revival of Jatra. So why this dichotomy as far as theatre is concerned? Is it because it attracts only a very elitist audience, or what would you say to that?
I would say that, like you said, Odisha has a very, very rich legacy when it comes to theatre and arts. And we're discussing about theatre today, and we're discussing about Ahe Nilo Soilo today, probably because a lot of first-time theatre goers, they have gone into the theatre to watch a play. But, it's not like plays are not being produced in Odisha. There are a lot of good production
and
houses.
A lot of ticketed shows also. But then normally, the audience wants to see free shows. They don't want to pay for the tickets. Theatre.
Like I said, I think we need more theatre which is meant for the masses, and which is not very niche. So, the content, and
Exactly.
again, we need more promotions.
Exactly.
And it's not like there is no sponsorship for theatre. I think a lot of the theatre festivals happen. The government also sponsors a lot of theatre productions. But I think generally, like when I started with this play, I Nila Soila, people said, who's going to watch theatre? No one is going to watch theatre. So I think that is the general perception amongst people, that nobody watches theatre. There's a very loyal group of theatre enthusiasts who go to Ravindra Mandap and watch whatever plays there. But here we saw a lot of first time theatre goers, a lot of youth, people who have never seen theatre before. So I think it's not about patronage or sponsorships only. It's also about focusing on popular theatre. I think we need more popular theatre and less of this inner circle kind of thing. I don't know. I have never seen theatre, Odia theatre in my life, and that was, I think, one of the best things that have happened to me. Because when I started with I Neela, so I had never seen theatre. I had a vision and I wanted that to come alive on the stage, come what may. And I think that's why I was so comfortable with first time theatre artists like Sofia, because some professionals we contacted was like, no, this is not going to happen. And this is not written in the books. And this does not work like that. And then I was like, obviously it is very, very unsettling when professionals and very senior people say that to you and you really question yourself. But then I really wanted this to be something different, something never done before, something very, very neat, something which will touch the people. And I think that it's proven that if the content is good and if it reaches the people, because with the promotion, with the sponsorship, 1-2 shows you can pull off, but we've done more than 15 shows now, and that proves that 15 shows, all of it house full. So that proves that people want good content. It's not like there was this discussion that OTT has killed cinema halls, but now with the stupendous success of Pathan, we see that people want cinema also, people want OTT also, people want Jatra also, and people want theatre also. We just need to give them what they want. We need to package it well. We need to popularize it. We need to choose subjects that will resonate with the audience.
The content must strike a chord, like Ahinila Soilo did. Sofia, coming back to you, for most actors, acting is a means of livelihood. And today with, the OTT platforms where less time, more money, and a lot of opportunities, how do you see theatre as, how attractive is it for actors?
See, this question is a bit difficult to answer, but okay. The thing is that every actor works for a reason. Some people work for money, some to build their profile, some for the curiosity of their profession, some just want to explore every genre. So I would say surviving doing just theatre is difficult, not impossible. It's difficult, but every actor should at least once do theatre or any form of live. Every actor should do any form of live stage, be it theatre or jatra. I have a lot of respect for jatra actors because they perform at a time, when the biological clock is, they defy that biological clock and they work through the night. So it's a very difficult and very challenging form of performance, and I have a lot of respect for them. And they stick to that genre no matter what. And it's very difficult and it takes a lot of physical challenges. They have to overcome those physical challenges to work in jatra. So for theatre, I would say doing just theatre and making a living out of it is difficult, but it's not impossible. And I did theatre because I wanted to do theatre, because I just love it so much. And every actor would love to do theatre if it's done in this way, if it's always done keeping everything in the mind. You just can't only think about the art, the reason why theatre earlier or during the last few years wasn't doing that well in Odisha was that we were just sticking to the old format and we were just sticking to the art form only. Yehi hota aaya hai and we'll be doing just this. This is what has been happening and we have to do this only. But you know, a little changes here, it's like getting a haircut or it's just like getting a makeover. So this Ahe Nilo Soilo is a theatre with a makeover. So it's presented in a very beautiful manner. There is, and it's not that it's, we are also adhering to the aesthetics. And we have also done a lot of research. We've not done anything, you know, so that we'll invite controversy. So there's no big time controversy as such, touch wood for that. But the thing is that if you do theatre and we have to change with time. And that is what Ahe Nilo Soilo has done. And then if this is how theatre is done in future, and after Ahe Nilo Soilo, in the last 1 year, after the first season of Ahe Nilo Soilo, we've seen lot of other dramas and theatres coming up, and lot of actors, you know, who've worked only for television, they have also started, you know, going for theatre. So they also want to do some drama or natak. So now that we have shown the path to others. So everything needs a revival and a reformatting. So basically,
Indeed,
we have
you
to
have
change
set a
with
trend.
the-
If I may add here, she said that working only in theatre and surviving is difficult, but I would say it is impossible. It is impossible, and that is the problem here. When I started work on this project, we were doing the budget, and I was told you don't need to pay anyone anything. Artists would be more than happy to work in a big production because theatre is considered as a stepping stone to enter the movies or a serial. It's like an audition. Absolutely. One day ka show gote dinaro show hue, producers mananku dakanti, free pass deikina, houseful हुए, ଆଉ ଯଦି ଭଲ ଆପଣ ପରଫର୍ମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ତାହେଲେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଟିଭିରେ ଗୋଟେ ସୁଯୋଗ ମିଳିବ କି ଫିଲ୍ମରେ ସୁଯୋଗ ମିଳିବ. And I was shocked. I'm like, no one in my production is going to work for free. No one is going to work in Ahe Nilo Soilo for free, and we ensured that. That is why our budget was also a little higher. But I was absolutely shocked that people don't get paid in theatre. And I think unless that changes, this whole revival, resurgence, renaissance, nothing is going to happen. Now, to be able to pay the artists, to be able to pay the cast and crew, you need to have a revenue model. And that revenue model can be a good combination of ticket sales, which has once again been proven that people are ready and willing to pay and watch good content.
Absolutely.
And patronage or sponsorships.
Content is king, no doubt about that. And we just spoke that, you know, you have set a trend, a slick production, you've raised the bar, tight script, fabulous direction, amazing performances, the stage, the moments, and 2 hours just flew by. I saw it twice, I could have seen it 10 more times. And I think at the end of it, many of us were actually, we were weeping. We were weeping and we didn't want it to end. So how do we move from trend to tradition? How do we sustain this momentum that you have created? What do you think should be done?
Honestly, I am in no position of authority to answer this question. We've just done one production. This is our maiden production. We don't know anything about theatre. There are a lot of veterans who are already in the industry and are also doing some amazing work. I think I will be able to answer this question when probably 10 years down the line when we've done a few more productions. See, every production cannot be as grand, cannot be a magnum opus as Ahe Nilo Soilo. But when you're talking about sustaining, it is very, very simple. Say for Rabindra Mandap has, you can sell say 600 or 700 tickets. Even if you sell it at 200 rupees, that is 1,40,000 rupees per show. So if you keep your production costs lesser than that, it becomes a sustainable model. And I think it is very, very possible to do, because not every production will be a very big production. End of the day, the content, has to be neatly scripted. It has to be tight, and everything can be done on a budget also. Ahenila Soila deserved a bigger budget. It deserved a bigger stage, and because the protagonist, it centered around Lord Jagannath, I personally did not want to compromise on anything. But probably for the next production, we would definitely try and work out a model where, we keep the budgets tighter. We probably don't have a crew of 70 people. We work with lesser people and try, to create a revenue model for it. So it has to be, the culture has to be cultivated where,
Exactly.
tickets are being sold, nothing is being offered for free. But when you're charging someone money, when you're, selling tickets, you have great responsibility towards the audience. So you cannot feed them anything. You have to be very, very careful about what you are showing them and what you're selling.
Now that this huge buzz has been created about theatre after Ahenira Soila, do you think that you can leverage this buzz by getting all the theatre groups together and forming a body where you could actually work together towards raising the bar for theatre? Will you take the lead? As someone from the younger generation who has actually managed this feat, you should be taking the lead. How does it sound?
I don't have an answer for this. Honestly, I do not know much about theatre.
You learn.
And lot of times I feel that, probably, this is just like, we worked really hard for this production, but honestly, I don't know, what's going to happen in future and whether... and it's actually not theatre. I'm not into theatre. I should thank my father who's sitting there, Someranjan Patnaik. At 6 months of my life, I didn't go to office. Day, night, I was working on this production. If anyone else was there in his place, if he wasn't a lover of... If he wasn't a patron of arts, I would have been kicked out of office.
That's why I said that you come with a strong creative bloodline. Obviously, you need that kind of support.
But definitely people should come together. See, this is the age of collaboration. Nothing is impossible.
Absolutely. And, hopes always rest on the younger generation.
I think a lot of people, a lot of musicians, a lot of creators, content writers, directors, everybody should collaborate to create something magical. It is the age of collaborations, and nothing is impossible, to be honest. And if you're doing something good, patrons, sponsors, everybody comes on board. You just need to have the belief in your vision and your work.
Absolutely. Sophia, one last question for you. How did it feel to enact the role of a Hindu queen and a devotee of Lord Jagannath?
No interview is complete without this question coming up. So, first of all, I would like to say that I believe in Lord Jagannath, and I believe that we are in Odisha, and eta hochi Jagannathanka desa, au ame samaste Odia. I am an Odia because I am born and brought up here. Everything about Odia culture is a part of my life, is a part of my lifestyle. So I'm very much Odia than any other Odia in Odisha or outside Odisha. So just because I do not, I'm born in a different faith, so that does not make me a lesser Odia. And I believe in Lord Jagannath, and I believe in this subject, and I found that the story was really beautiful, and every Odia should watch Ahenira Soila once. If I ever have to make a public request for Ahenira Soila, I don't know whether they have to buy a ticket or watch it free, or how do they get to watch it. That is, I don't care, but they have to, and they should watch Ahenira Soila once to know Jagannath Ji's legacy, to know the story of Sri Mandir, to know the story, just because, just for the knowledge of it, And as far as playing a Hindu Nari is concerned, a Hindu queen, I think when Tanaya was sitting for the casting, I don't think she thought about this thing in her mind. She had a picture of a queen in her mind, and somehow she happened to see my picture somewhere on Facebook, and she said she is going to play the queen. She had not seen any of my performances earlier. Okay, she knew I was an actor, but she had not seen any of my performances earlier, and she said, I want her to play this Maharani character. So when I went and met her for the first time and we discussed this, she said the same thing to me. I want you to do it because this is how I want my Maharani to look. So, so this is plain and simple. It's that simple. And all big productions like Ahe Nilo Soilo and all successful productions are always, you know, all successful productions have people who don't decide based on any of these things, you know, who is who is what. If they have a character in their mind, a writer or a director or a producer, they always have a character in mind, and they want an actor to do justice to the character more than anything else. It just so happened that Maharani turns out to be Sofia Alam. So
Beautiful.
it's
And
just a coincidence.
as you speak, I have goosebumps, and we are so proud of what you've just said.
Thank you.
Last question for you, Tanaya. After that, we'll have a few audience questions. What next from Chocolate Productions?
So a lot of people think that Ahe Nilo Soilo kude hegala, ho hegala, but actually ho hegala. So we're actually trying to work on something to prove ki nai ho he. And again, that's something in the works and not something that I would be publicly announcing right now, but definitely another production. Always aimed at promoting our art, our culture, our rich history, and again, hopefully something that will be liked by the audience.
Absolutely. We will now take just 2 questions from the audience. We have time for just 2 questions. The mic here, please. The 2 hands raised here.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Well, my question is to Tanaya ma'am. Ma'am, can we get to see a romantic lyrical play on Jayadeva's Gita Govinda? It's also an Odia play, you know. Can we get to see that sometime soon?
I mean, why not? Why not? Thank you for the suggestion. Thank you so much. That would be absolutely beautiful. And again, we have so much in store in our own literature. So, definitely. Thank you.
The mic there, please, at the back.
My question is to Tanaya, and she has told that she didn't see many dramas and all, but so she might not have heard Mr. Ananta Mahapatra, Utkala Rangamancha Trust, the way he tried to revive the old dramas. And I was there for nearly 10 to 12 of his dramas. Content was good, actor-actress were good, and direction was good, but only 10 to 15 audience, that to 20 rupees ticket. So he wanted to revive all the old popular dramas of Odisha. So why don't you try? And as you rightly told, no propaganda, no marketing, no sponsorship, so that it failed. But when during COVID, he gave all those dramas in YouTube, there was thousands of watchers, young people. So I would request you, if you can revive all those dramas, which is really has very good content, and you can have different actors, and you can take it to a different height, and maybe it will be very popular. And my second question is, did you find Ravindra Mandap up to mark, or we want better auditorium in Bhubaneswar? These are my 2 questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ananta Babu is a veteran, and I'm aware of his body of work. But like I said, again, good content needs to be complemented with ample promotion and marketing. So probably that is something which is lacking. And again, that is a big risk because marketing and
somebody
promotion.
has to take the risk.
Yes,
No?
doesn't. And again, like I said, it takes a lot of time and lot of effort to create something good, to create something of value. So I think there should be more production houses collaborating with patrons and sponsors. So like Kimji supported us. So probably, if 10 or 12 business houses, Odisha has so many corporates, if they adopt a production house or if they lend their hand of support to production houses, and if we can have one big production every month, which is very, very possible, then I think then revival can happen. Revival cannot happen only with one Ahe Neela Soila, like you rightly pointed out.
No.
We need continuous inflow of good content, because when someone is buying a ticket and getting inside the theatre, we need to really understand the pulse of the audience. Secondly, Rabindra Mandap was absolutely wonderful, to be very honest. We went and performed in Bangalore. The sound, the light, the other facilities in Rabindra Mandap are actually very, very good. ମୁଁ ଭାବିଥିଲି କି ବାହାରେ ବହୁତ ଭଲ ହେଇଥିବ, ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି ଦିଲ୍ଲୀ ବମ୍ବେରେ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ବହୁତ ବଡ଼ ବଡ଼ ଅଡିଟୋରିୟମ୍ସ ଥିବେ, କିନ୍ତୁ ରବୀନ୍ଦ୍ର ମଣ୍ଡପ ଯେତିକି ପଇସା ମଠୁ ନଉଛି per day, ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି it is very, very affordable. But again, there is a need for bigger auditorium.
Yes.
So, and I think Bhubaneswar is at a place where we can have multiple auditoriums. The problem is Rabindra Mandap is the only option right now. So, I'm confident अछु कि आमे 10 दिन 12 दिन 15 दिन 20 दिन भी Ahe Neela Soila प्रदर्शन कले आमर हाउसफुल रहिबो, आमको से डेट्स मिलुनी, because that is the only option. भंजगला मंडप तापरे टिके बहुत छोटो ही जाउची and not very, very suitable for a big production. But I believe कला क्षेत्र की किछि गोटे 2000 सीट वाला गोटे नुआ खोलुची उत्कल दिवस रे बोधवे खोली जिबो, तो hopefully we will have more options. But Rabindra Mandap has been a wonderful experience.
But as you rightly say, no, for so many, before 3-4 months only you have to book Rabindra Mandap. It's
Yes.
always booked. Okay, thank you, Tanaya.
Thank you so much.
In fact, we just heard yesterday that OUAT is coming up with the largest auditorium in the world. But it's for farmers, but then we hope that they will share that auditorium space with others.
So, congratulations on the great production. I live in Gurgaon, but I happened to catch Ahe Neela Soila. And Sofia, you slipped into the character so well. It didn't matter what your faith or name was. I watch a lot of theatre, and my suggestion is, and I think you borrowed a bit from Jatra in terms of style. It was not very conventional theatre. Ahe Neela Soila borrowed from multiple types, I think. My suggestion is, when we watch plays, two things that draw people to plays. One is some big name from the movie industry. So Pankaj Kapoor and Nasiruddin Shah definitely works. The second is, all plays don't have to be magnum opus. For example, I've seen love letters with just two people reading out letters. Or, the English version had people just moving cubes around. So can we also explore some options where we don't have to have such extravaganza, but we can still communicate what we are trying to say. Just explore various types of plays which could maybe draw people, because yes, spending 1,000, 2,000 on tickets may not be affordable for everyone, which is why people look for free passes. Yeah, thank you.
In fact, Shatabdiro Kalakar has staged Ta Maro Kahani, and which has really done well. It is just a narration by a mother, and very few. There are just two actors in that, and it has done very, very well here. It's really attracted audiences, and it's run on ticketed shows. So, like you said, there has to be, we can explore across genres and see, how we strike a balance between magnum opus and the simpler
Absolutely.
genres.
I think there is room for all kinds of content, and that should be explored.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tanaya. Thank you, Sofia. Congratulations once again to you and to Chocolate Productions. And like I said, we have hope in the youth, and I'm sure we'll see much more in the days to come. Thank you, Bhubaneswar Literally Meet, for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for being a wonderful audience, and thank you Panchami and Sofia.
Yeah, thank you, Manu.